So here's the deal. You should always build your business as if you're going to sell it one day, because nothing lasts forever. We don't last forever, unfortunately. There's a cycle. There's a human cycle and a business cycle.
Michelle Seiler Tucker, welcome to the ROI Online Podcast.
Amazing, right?
When you talk about starting to just look at your business as if you're going to sell it, you think about all the things that changes in your mind and what you need to put in place to make it more valuable later on. Those would be systems and processes that remove you from needing to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you have to be there to run it, all the value's on you, then they're going to want you to hang around even though you sold it. So you're still going to be working.
So, well, here's the thing. This is what we're going to talk about, the 6 P's, because the 6 P's are really crucial for your audience to hear.
Mm-hmm.
The 6 P's is the infrastructure to build a sustainable, scalable asset. So when you're ready, you actually have something that people want to buy. The problem is most business owners never build their business to something that a buyer actually wants to buy. That's why 80% of businesses don't sell. So number one is people. If you are the owner and you're tied to the business and the business cannot operate without you, then you don't have a business. You have a glorified job in which you go to work at every day, versus a business that works for you. Buyers don't want to buy a job. They want to buy a business. So entrepreneurs, listen up. You got to stop wanting to do everything yourself. You'll never grow unless you let go of the control. You can't control everything. You need to focus on your strengths, because you're not good at everything. I'm not good at everything. Nobody's good at everything. Figure out your strengths. Focus on your strengths. Hire your weaknesses. Get the right people in the right positions. People is the first P. You don't build a business. You build people and they build the business. So you need to get the right people in the right seats, and you need to ask the who questions, Steve. Who opens the doors? Who handles customer service? Who handles legal? Who handles accounting? Who handles marketing? Who handles manufacturing, transportation, logistics, environmental, etc.? The list goes on and on. All entrepreneurs should stop right now, pause this podcast, and write down your list of all the who's in your company and put down the names next to each who. Here's a clue. You should never be next to the who.
Amen.
You should never be next to the who, because if you are, then the business can't run without you, and you will never maximize value. I have a dentist that called me to sell his business, been in practice 45 years. One dentist and 3 dental hygienists. He's like, Michelle, I can't stay. I'm exhausted. It's 45 years. And I'm like, you know what? Too bad. You should have figured about this a long time ago. You're either going to have to stay for 2 or 3 years, and the purchase price will be dependent upon you staying. It's going to be tied to you staying, or get an associate. But you have nothing to sell because the business is you. And when you leave, the patients leave. All right. So people is very important. The second P is product. You got to ask yourself, is your product thriving or dying? Is it on the way up or on the way out? Do you have an Amazon way up here, or do you have a Blockbuster? And let me tell you, because you didn't ask me, Michelle, why are 70% of these businesses going out of business? Have been in business 10 years or longer. Well, here's the answer, Steve. It's because these businesses that are going out of business is because they stopped doing one thing and one thing only. They stopped doing what I call AIM. 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 Always innovate and market. Always innovate. Okay. Product is innovation. Innovation. So Blockbuster saw Netflix. They did nothing about it. They had the opportunity to buy Netflix. They sat back fat and happy and out of business. Toys R Us, in business 70 years, did nothing different. Zero innovation, and wonder why they went out of business. So innovation is key, especially with this pandemic right now. So here's 3 great questions for you to ask yourself.
Write them down.
Write them down. And you know what? You probably have to hire an expert, get a mentor, get Steve, get somebody to help you figure this out. Because when you're in your fog, guess what, Steve? It's foggy. It's foggy.
Yes.
So you need an outsider's perspective to help you really see things that you're not seeing clearly because you're in the middle of your chaos. So 3 questions. Amazon did this in the 90s. Ask yourself, what business are you in? Amazon asked themselves, what business are we in?
Well, they were in the book business, but they actually...
Bingo. Well, stop right there, Steve, because you can't give away the answers. They were in the book selling business, right?
Yes.
What was the next question to ask themselves? What do we do better? What do we do better than anybody else? Anybody else? And they said fulfillment. We do fulfillment better than anybody else. The last most important question is, what business should we be in? Now, go, Steve.
Logistics. They should be shipping all the products to you.
Absolutely. They should be in a fulfillment business. And they're like, ding, 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 dong, dong, dong. We should be in a fulfillment business. Those 3 questions right there transform Amazon from a small bookseller to a multi-billion-dollar worldwide conglomerate that they are today.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Steve, you do consulting, right? You do coaching, you do mentoring. So you should work with your clients on those questions, because it's hard for business owners to say, well, all right, we know what we do. What do we do really, really well? And then it's hard for them to say, what should we do? What business should we be in?
Right.
So that's product. You have to pivot. You have to innovate. Let me tell you why so many business owners are in trouble right now because of COVID. It's because they never diversify. They have one revenue center and they have about 1 to 3 months of working capital. And then they wonder why they're out of business. You got to be diversified. I have multiple companies. So if one business is bad or one business does not do good this year, I've got other businesses that pay me. Right. And you should have a year's worth of working capital. 1 year, at least 1 year's worth of working capital.
That's easy said, hard to do.
Easy said, hard to do.
Yeah.
Nobody ever said business was easy.
No.
But you know what? Do what's easy and life becomes hard. Do what's hard and life becomes easy.
Love that. Number 3, P.
Processes. So processes is number 3. And let me just, and you probably already know this because you work with business owners. Most business owners don't think about processes. It's kind of like exit strategy. They don't think about processes until something bad happens in their company. And then they're like, oh, we need a process for that. We're selling a manufacturing company and they had a catastrophic event occur on the manufacturing floor. And they're going to get sued from everybody and they'll probably end up out of business filing bankruptcy, unfortunately. And the owner says to me, we really need a health and safety process for that. And I'm like, you needed it before this. So you really should think about your processes early on, tweak them as you go. Because of course you're going to enhance your processes. You're going to tweak your processes. But here's where most business owners get it wrong, Steve. I think this is very important. Most business owners design their processes around their agenda. I would tell you there's different service industries like chiropractors, doctors, sometimes dentists. They base their process around when they're open is based upon their agenda. They're open, Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 12, then 3 to 6, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays, a half a day. And you know what I mean? That's based upon their agenda. It's not based upon the client experience. So you really need to design your processes based upon the client experience. And I work with a lot of chiropractors, so chiropractors can't get mad at me because my husband's a chiropractor. But we have multidisciplinary clinics and he knows not to do that. So you need to design your customer experience, your processes around your customer experience in mind. McDonald's did this in the 40s. Did you ever watch the movie The Founder?
Yes, I did.
Best movie ever, right? Such a great movie. So remember back in the 40s, McDonald's said, we want to develop a fast food restaurant. This was McDonald Brothers, not Ray Kroc. We want to develop a fast food restaurant around our customer experience. We want to design the processes around our customer experience. We want the customer to experience great tasting food that's hot, that's fast. How do we do that? Do you remember, Steve, when they went to the tennis courts and they erased everything?
Put tape everywhere, or it was chalk, and they drew their kitchen and worked on the flow, the process.
And worked on the flow. Remember they kept bumping into each other?
Yeah.
until they finally figured out who takes the customer's order, who toasts the buns, who puts the burgers on the
There you
buns,
go.
who puts the pickles on the buns and gives it to the client and, fast, right?
Right.
So even though that was done so long ago and tweaked and enhanced along the way, those processes designed around the customer experience is why you can eat at a McDonald's anywhere in the world and still get the same experience, right?
Mhm.
They never said it's going to be healthy for you. They never said it's going to be organic. They said it's going to be great tasting food fast. And that's what it is. They never said our customer service is going to be great, because the customer service is not great at most locations.
Mhm.
It's not like Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A built their processes around customer experience, just like Zappos built their processes around, their slogan was happiness, recreate happiness, happy employees, happy customers, happy employees, happy clients. So you really got to think about that, because have you ever dealt with a business, Steve, where, oh my gosh, you're on your phone pushing this number and this number and this number and this number to get a live person, or you have to tell your story to 5-6 different people to get some resolve on your problem, right?
Right.
They did it backwards. They designed the processes around their own agenda, not the customer experience.
Number 4, the 4th P.
I want to say one more thing about processes.
I
have to say one more thing about processes.
I'm ready.
We have to have policy and procedure manuals. We have to have SOP checklist. We have to have employee handbooks and non-competes.
So much work, Michelle. Come on. This is so much work.
Well, you're not going to start your business for $20 million, because the first time that buyer walks in, they're going to ask you for all of this.
This is why it can grow the value of your business exponentially, to pay attention to these details.
Right. And then hire Steve to come in and do your processes and policy and procedure manuals and SOP checklists for you. So number 4, proprietary is the highest value driver of all the P's.
And here's the teaser. Michelle, I want to stop here and tease everybody. We're going to talk about this a little more in depth on the YouTube channel and our exclusive about databases, how they can be an example of this proprietary process that Michelle's talking to us about.
Yeah. So just to give you guys a quick crash course in valuation, I'm going to be very quick here. So businesses that are, well, it's important for people to know this. Businesses that are under $1 million in EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, will typically trade for a multiple of under 5 times EBITDA. Businesses that are over $1 million in EBITDA will typically trade for a multiple of over 5 times EBITDA. You're never going to get a multiple of gross revenues unless you're a SaaS company. SaaS companies trade for a multiple of gross. Everything else is a multiple of EBITDA. Okay, adjusted EBITDA or seller's discretionary earnings. But here's what's important. I can take you from a 5 multiple to maybe a 7, 8, 9, 10 with proprietary assets. So proprietary assets are the number 1 value driver. There's 6 pillars to proprietary. I'll be very quick. I'll try to be quick. The last P's are quick. So branding. I don't want to shortchange people on proprietary. Branding. The more well-branded you are, Steve, the more I can sell your company for, as long as your brand is relevant in the mind of the consumers. Is anybody paying any money for Blockbuster? No. So the largest brand in the world, the most valuable brand in the world, do you know who it is?
Apple.
That's right. Ding, 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 you win.
I'm winning just having you on the podcast, Michelle. This is a big win.
$249 billion is the Apple brand. $249 billion. That's without EBITDA, assets, inventory, accounts receivables, real estate, anything else. Just $249 billion for just a brand. Trademarks are valuable. Trademarks are huge. Here's the biggest mistake that business owners make surrounding trademarks is they'll go to the state that they're opening up their business and they'll go get a state trademark. But they never check the federal database to make sure that that company name is available. So I've seen business owners be in business 5, 10, 15 years to receive a cease and desist letter in the mail that they have to stop using that company name. They hire an attorney, they throw cash at it, but you're still going to, in all likelihood, lose. And then you have to start the branding process all over again. So go spend the $1,500 to $2,000 and get a federal trademark. Federal trademark your company name. Federal trademark your podcast. Is your podcast federally trademarked, Steve?
It's in the process.
because you just found out, or is it really in the
My
process?
company name is, I did that, but yes, in the
It's in the process. Okay,
process,
good. So
yeah.
so same thing with Exit Rich. I trademarked Exit Rich. I trademarked ST6Bs, ST GPS exit model. Trademark everything that is your USP, your unique selling proposition, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, very important. Then also patents. You ever watch Shark Tank?
Yes.
What's every investor ask every single inventor?
Do you have it patented?
Do you have a patent on that? Do you have a utility patent? Do you have a patent pending? Contracts, very valuable, Steve. Manufacturing contracts, distribution contracts, franchisor contracts for franchisees, exclusivity contracts. The most valuable of all contracts here are client contracts, especially if they have recurring revenue or subscription model. Buyers love recurring revenue. They love subscription models, and they will pay a much higher multiple for that. Here's a caveat, and here's a mistake that every single business owner I've ever met in my 20 years makes this mistake.
I'm listening.
You have to have the 2-sentence transferability clause in your contracts, because 99.8% of all sales are asset sales, not stock sales. And if your buyer doesn't agree to do a stock sale and the clients don't agree to consent to transfer, your deal could fall apart. So Exit Rich is all about crossing your T's, dotting your I's, and make sure there's no surprise when you get ready to sell your biggest asset, your business. So you want to make sure you have that 2-sentence transferability clause. Databases, which you keep bringing up. Mm-hmm. Databases are huge, especially if you have 1 million users, 1 billion users. They're repurposed. They can be repurposed. They can be retargeted. Facebook, we talked about this in the beginning, that Facebook paid $19 billion for Facebook that was not just losing money, hemorrhaging, but they had 1 billion users. So you can lose money, Steve, as long as you have some of these proprietary assets, and I can still sell your business for a profit. Here's the other thing in proprietary: celebrity endorsements. We have a client that has Oprah endorsing their products. A strategic competitor will pay top dollar for this business because they want to get their other products in front of Oprah. Radio personalities who are endorsing your skincare, your diet company, they can only endorse one vertical because they lose credibility. So that's prime real estate. Do you know how hard it is to get on some of these huge radio talk shows with, I used to say Rush Limbaugh, unfortunately he passed away, but Glenn Beck, the Kid Craddock show, any of these big celebrities, that's huge prime IP real estate. My e-commerce clients, if you can get any of those top positions on Wayfair, Etsy, Amazon, and your niche market, huge. I can get you a much higher multiple for any of these proprietary assets that we just talked about. That's proprietary. So the 5th P is Patreons. Patreons is your customer database. You can't have a business without customers. Most businesses follow the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your clients comes from 20%. 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your clients. If you lose a few clients, you can be out of business. We were once selling an advertising business that specialized in casinos, and casinos were their clients. We're selling them in the $10 million range. They have 5 clients. In the process, they lost 2. Decreased their EBITDA and the revenues in half. So they weren't sellable anymore, not for the price they wanted. So we ended up having to merge them. So this is very important. You want customer diversification, not customer concentration.
Right.
However, if you have customer concentration, doesn't mean we can't sell it. It means, Steve, that we have to find that needle in a haystack of a buyer, because we were sold a manufacturing company, oil manufacturing company. They had customer concentration with BP. They had 65% of their revenue tied up in the BP contract. And we appraised them for $9.8 million. We had 550 buyers. We had 12 LOIs, letter of intents. But most buyers were scared of the customer concentration. But we found a strategic that had similar products and similar services. They've been trying to get in BP for years and could never get in. They paid $15 million for 70% of the company, which was 126% more than the business was appraised for. This is how we do our job.
That's way better than you would have got on a Shark Tank.
That's right. And then so the last P and the most important P to all of your listeners, all of your followers is profits. Everybody's in business to make money. You know, people say, well, Michelle, why do you put profits last? I'm like, because profits is never the problem. Lack of profits is never the problem. It's a symptom of not operating on the other 5 Ps. I have clients that come to me and say, Michelle, I have a profit problem. I'm like, no, you have a people problem, or no, you have a process problem. Profits are not the problem. If you are losing money, go back and look at your other 5 Ps.
Love it. We've been listening to Michelle Seiler Tucker. She's the author of Exit Rich, the 6P method to sell your business for a huge profit on the ROI Online Podcast. So, Michelle, I like to ask, what's one question that nobody ever asked you that you'd love to talk about?
Gosh, I don't know, because I feel like I get asked everything. Probably one of my hobbies. You know, nobody ever asked me what's my hobbies.
Well, what's your hobbies besides blowing up people's businesses?
Work, work, and work. No. I mean, my hobbies are writing. I love to write. I like to write poems. I write books. Obviously, I have 3 books out. I write poems. I write lyrics. You know, I just love to write. I've always loved writing. My other hobby is, obviously, I work out. I don't know if that's really a hobby. I don't do it because I do it because I need to. And then travel, hanging out with friends, spending time with my 10-year-old daughter. You know, those are all my passions.
I love it. Michelle, you've been an awesome guest on the ROI Online Podcast. And for those that want to hear about our exclusive discussion on databases on the YouTube channel, be sure to follow us over there. Michelle, what's the best way for folks to get in touch with you?
Well, first and foremost, can we tell your followers how to get Exit Rich?
Let's do that.
So I just want to tell you a couple of things about Exit Rich real quick.
Yes.
Number one is my co-author. My co-author is Sharon Lecter. She wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad with Robert Kiyosaki. Been a New York Times bestselling author 5 times.
Nice.
And she is a CPA, financial literacy expert, the advisor to many different presidents. Exit Rich was endorsed by Steve Forbes, saying that Exit Rich is a gold mine for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs leave way too much money on the table. And it was also, our foreword was written by Kevin Harrington, the original Shark on Shark Tank. So we had Brian Tracy, Tom Hopkins, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, all giving us glowing recommendations. Les Brown. So we are in the middle of pre-sales. Exit Rich comes out in June. You can go to exitrichbook.com right now, exitrichbook.com for $24.79. If you order exitrichbook.com, we will email you the digital download within minutes. So you can start reading. You don't have to wait till June. Plus, we'll ship the hardcover to your doorstep upon launch date. In addition, we will give you a lifetime membership into the Exit Rich Book Club, where if you like what you're hearing here, there's a lot more of video content there, plus documents to run your business, sample employee handbooks, sample non-competes, sample organizational charts, policy and procedure manuals, documents to sell your business, sample letter of intent agreement, sample purchase agreement, sample due diligence checklist, closing docs, everything, all the documents you need to run and sell your business are there, not only for your review, Steve, but for your download. This, if you went to an attorney to recreate these documents, it would be probably over $30,000 to recreate all these documents or more. And so they're all there for your download. Plus, we're given a 30-day membership over into our club CEOs. And this is a club where we have like-minded entrepreneurs, where we ask those transformational questions, where we help business owners plan that sustainable, scalable, sellable business. So go get your copy of Exit Rich Book.
Do it now.
Today at exitrichbook.com.
Just listening to this podcast has been valuable, and all of those assets, they will revolutionize your business.
Right. And then also one more way you can get a hold of me, or 2 more ways. My other website is seilertucker.com. You can also text Michelle to 888-526-5750. All of my websites will pop up, all of our social media. Follow me on social media and connect with me on LinkedIn.
That's seilertucker.com. That's SEILER Tucker.com. Michelle, what an awesome guest you've been on the ROI Online Podcast.
Thank you, Steve. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
And that's a wrap.